here, and I've been making notes of a few things that you have been saying, especially the Sports Authority, SAF. You've given some very, very important inputs. See, first and foremost, my own experience with sports, and a lot of experience with the corporates, because we do give, tax exemptions and tax breaks to people who are involved in sports and in other social responsibilities. There has to be a paradigm shift in how we approach a corporate, because so far, let me put this a little more bluntly, is that we are mostly seen as beggars who want the corporates to give us arms. And the corporates actually do us a lot of favor, because they feel that this is not a part of their normal profit-making activity. And we are actually doing charity. The paradigm shift is how we approach them, and we have to convince them that this is very much a part of your profit-making activity. If you do this, you earn more. Well, I was recently, in fact, my good friend Jayesh has been in Harvard for a year, and I kind of followed him this year. So, a lot of work in economics, and I'll give you a short thing about an economic study that we recently seen there. Now, this study was conducted on one sportsman who are working in corporates and two regular corporate executives who are not technically sportsmen but who play sports. So, what they found was that people who are regularly into sports, who play and what we normally call extracurricular activities, but play active sports, their IQ and EQ levels are actually higher than those of even normal brilliant people. It's genuine if you take a larger sample. And they also found that senior corporate executives who are into sports, they somehow command higher salaries. They command, in economic parlance, greater rents in the market than a person who doesn't do it. So a lot of follow-up studies are being conducted. But if you look at across different subjects, you look at psychology, you look at economics, and you look at even engineering, you will find that sports and active sports, even up to a ripe older age, actually gives you a huge edge over a person who doesn't play. And this fact, a lot of top-level HR executives, especially in US, I found, have started taking note of. So this is one very important aspect which we need to highlight. And what I see is actually a couple of issues that Mr. Ojha had pointed out rightly, and which I saw in my interaction with people. See, when we were in Punjab, what happened? My children were studying in a very good school, but that school did not have good sporting facilities. Now there were two options open. One, I tell the school, start making sporting facilities. Now that's going to take a long time. By that time, my children will be out of the school. Second, of course, I take them after school, which I did. But a third thing which I found, which was very, very, very out of the box thinking, that these people, they partnered with foundations like the SEF. You have similar foundations in other cities. They partnered with them for coaching their students. So what we had 2-3 very good facilities back in Amritsar, small city, but the big schools, they partnered with them so that after school, their children would go and train there and no individual parents, the school will pay them. So it is like an extended facility of the school. And the foundations were very happy because they had a whole lot of idle capacity lying with them. As far as the world-class infrastructure of the sports authority is concerned, I don't see this being a very viable proposition because not many schools will be able to pay like that. But for the general upbringing of children and schools which don't have those facilities, I find that the parents don't mind paying a little more as long as you get a good package. So that is one very interesting thing. I also personally would like to say a few things about Mr. Sai Baba and the SAF. You see, I am a small city person. I have not really acclimatized to big cities. And so Hyderabad, of course, is a nice city. It's a mix of big and small. And my children are both sportsmen, as I have been. And I have been really pestering my children to play sport. In a smaller place, things are different, and you find that everything is within your reach. You know the coaches, you know the facilities. After school, it takes 10 minutes for you to send your child to a good academy. You may not have, really cutting-edge facilities, but you have good enough facilities. And that is one reason why you find that a lot of children from smaller cities are now actually coming up at the national stage. It is access to facilities, access to coaches. But anyway, so when I came here, my children, of course, went to a school which had good facilities, but I found that the cutting-edge coaching that I wanted was missing. Things were too far away. And that's when I went to various sports academies. They are both cricketers. They were earlier at national level karate and kickboxing players when they were younger. Now they are in class 9 and 12. Now they are cricketers. And one day somebody, in fact, Mr. Sai Baba had come to office. He was wanting extension of his tax exemption and all, and he requested me to tell my colleague. And I said, yes, हम लोग कोई काम नहीं करते, बिल्कुल exemption नहीं देना चाहिए. It's typically, income tax mindset that you are guilty unless found otherwise. So then I happened to go to his academy, and he didn't know that I was there. And I found him, actively telling people it's not just about cricket. There were a number of sports which were happening there, and he was telling, listen, about a way, you are not going to get another chance, only one chance, but nothing negative about it. Don't worry, you will do it. I stood for 15 minutes, and I found that there's a lot of love and affection towards his children for him. And I remember my time, my coaches used to say that sports builds characters. I would put it differently. Sport doesn't build character. Sport actually brings out your character. What is inside of you, once you are into a sport, an active sport, it brings it out. That's why you find that a lot of our people, they will go for match fixing because that character is already in them. Sports has only given them an opportunity to bring the negative out in them. And then there are people who will dedicate their lifetime to helping younger players, to bringing up sport, because sport only accentuates your character. So I found that, I'm not really a great judge of characters, but I found that, look, here is a man who seems to be having some kind of a good character. He seems to love his children. And for me, that is most important. For a young sportsman to flower, you must fall in love with your children. And that is how they will flower. And then, of course, there was a young child, I don't know if you remember Mr. Sai Baba, who was consistently missing catches. He would give him catch and that child would miss it. He will again give him, he will miss it. And one other person says, "Kitna miss kar raha?" In typical Hyderabadi. And Mr. Sai Baba told him, he says, "ऐसे नहीं बोलना. ये कल को तुम्हारे से पहले sportsman बनेगा." And that's when I remembered, my little son used to tell me, he's a real fan of Michael Jordan. So I have brought that quote with me. Michael Jordan said, He said, I have missed 9,000 shots in my career. I have lost almost 300 games. 26 times I have been trusted to take the game. I have been trusted to take the game-winning shot, and 26 times I have lost, and I have failed over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed. So I thought that was really important, that there is a coach who actually knows the intrinsic value of a person, and he's failing time and again, but he's encouraging over and over again. So I personally feel that, as the largest tax collector of the country, we are doing our, two pennies bit to encourage sports. In fact, recently we have, I in fact welcome all the organizations to have badminton matches with us, because we have recently recruited 2 of the Hyderabad IBL players into our organization. So we are very confident of winning. So we have a large number of very good graduate cricketers in our teams, and we are now organizing an All India badminton tournament here, and I am also the national coordinator for sports in the income tax. But I do agree with you that until and unless we have a paradigm shift and the corporates come in, but not out of begging, out of their own need to come, out of their own feeling that yes, this is good for us, both as an HR exercise, as a PR exercise. So I see a 4-way partnership between the media, the corporate, the government, and the sports foundations like Mr. Sai Baba's come together, and you can really make sports happen in this country. I would like to thank Mr. Sai Baba for giving me an opportunity to speak. As some of my friends will know, at home I'm quite a henpecked husband and I don't get much opportunity to speak. So thank you, Mr. Sai Baba, and thank you. It's a pleasure to talk.